Mike. Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1032 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. StickerU.com. Create custom stickers, labels, tattoos, and decals for your home and your business. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. And Canna Cabana. The lowest prices on cannabis. Guaranteed. Over 100 stores across the country. Learn more at cannacabana.com. Joining me this week, the esteemed host of Down the Stretch, Peter Gross. How's it going, Peter?
There's such a dramatic pause there between my first and last name.
I know. You know who loves your last name? My youngest daughter, Morgan. She just loves the name Peter Gross because it's got gross in there.
Yeah, exactly.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How many times have I been on the podcast?
I don't know offhand. You should have given me some warning. You were going to ask these tough questions.
No, because I want to be the Joey Bishop of Toronto Mike. Joey Bishop appeared on the Johnny Carson show 176 times. He was the most frequent guest.
Already on the live, we have a pirate live stream, and I can tell you Moose Grumpy is watching you live and says, Peter's looking good today.
Well, thank you.
That's real deal. I'm just reading that right now. So, yeah, Joey Bishop, that's a great reference for me and the older crowd, and I know that reference. He was a frequent guest, and you're more of like the Regis Philbin, I think. You're clocking the most broadcasting hours. So that's your claim to fame. Hey, Peter...
Yes, Mike.
Lots of ground to cover, but I have questions, and then I have questions from FOTMs, and then there's questions from yours truly.
Okay,
here.
that notwithstanding, you understand that I'm here to promote myself, to promote horse racing, to massage my ego, to say wonderful things about me.
Like, you do feel the love, right? Like, this community, the FOTMs adore you. You must feel that love.
Yeah, it's very pleasant. I have the nice experience, much more rare now than it used to be, of people coming up and saying, "I remember you," and
I remember you
saw
fondly.
you on TV. Yeah, I like that.
I mentioned I have clips I've pulled as well. Like, there's so many places I got to decide where do I go first. First, I'm going to ask you about something you mentioned on the program in the past, and Mark Weisblatt reminded me about it earlier today. What happened to the Don Shabib visit? Is that still happening? You, Don Shabib, in my backyard.
Well, you wanted me to call Don again, and I haven't done it yet, but thanks.
What are you waiting for?
Well, memory retention's not a major thing with me. I will do it. Don Shabib is a lovely, lovely man. I had such a great experience with him. Holy crap, 50 years ago. When he directed the movie that I was in, a movie called
name check it.
Yeah, Rip Off, which Don Shabib says is the worst movie he ever made.
So I want to let the
What
listeners...
do you mean, well, it is?
Well, that's by like all accounts. Like, not because you're in it, but just because it's not one of his better movies. It's a weaker one. But there is an episode of Toronto Mic'd in which you and I sit in the backyard and dive deep into the history of Rip Off, and we have original audio content from Don Shabib because you recorded a call with him. But it's a plan. You're going to touch base with him, please, and then we're going to get him in the backyard, and we're going to do it this summer.
I'll do that
Who's calling you right now? Okay, who is that?
It says no.
Is that
caller,
Don Shabib?
No, it's no caller ID.
Okay.
I'm going to pass on it.
All right, so that answers that. We need to follow up with Don and get that going. You were at CFNY for how long?
CFNY?
Yeah.
Oh, about a week.
A week, okay.
No, longer than that. I ended up at CFNY, oh God, I would say in the late 1990.
Oh, that's later. Okay, for some reason I thought it was earlier, but it's Billy Van delivered your severance check.
Yeah, and they it must have been it was the fall of 19 oh no 2000. I'm sorry.
No, 2000. Okay, not 1990 because I was you sure it's not 1990? I mean, you know your life better than I do. Okay?
Apparently not. I'm stepping backwards. It had to be 89 or 90.
Well, how old were you, do you think? And go work that way.
I left City TV in 1986 and really sputtered around for a while and didn't get much work. And approximately the fall of 1989, I can actually strategically date this by the birth of my oldest son, Roger.
Count the rings on your limb.
So Roger was born in 1991.
Okay.
And I met his mother in the summer of 1991. So it had to be the fall of 1990. Let's say September, October.
Okay.
And I got a relatively small gig at CFNY doing editorial, replacing Fred Patterson when he was on vacation doing the sports. And they asked me not to show up anymore.
They said, please stop coming to our Brampton studio.
I did some editorials, and some of them pissed them off. So they
Who fired you? Like, do you know who was it who fired you? Reiner Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Okay.
And
but he likes the crazy and zany kind of characters. I'm surprised Reiner didn't.
There was a couple
dig your
editorials
vibe.
where I might have stepped over the line.
Well, I want to hear those.
In my exuberance.
Okay. So I'm going somewhere here. This is a 40-second clip, and then I'll explain myself.
Listen to the streets of Ontario. You will be surprised. On Sunday afternoons at 4 o'clock, CFNY will feature independent vinyl and tape releases. With reviews of live performances, tips on doing it yourself, facts, rumors, and gigs. 4 o'clock, Sunday afternoon. Tune your radio to the streets of Ontario. CFNY FM 102.1.
Okay, why did I play that? Because Peter Goodwin passed away. Did you encounter Peter Goodwin during your time at CFNY? Does this name sound familiar?
No, I don't recall.
What about Liz Janik? Was Liz Janik still there?
That name rings a very faint bell, but I mean, you could mention immediate members of my family for the last 4 years, and I'd say, "Oh, that rings."
How's
a bell.
your mom doing on that note?
Oh,
before I give the Peter Goodwin
my
update.
mother, Marilyn Gross,
99
on March the 13th.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
In spectacularly great health, totally mobile. You know what? She just went up to a friend's cottage.
Wow.
So I said to her, well, how old are these women that you went to the cottage? She said, well, one's 79 and a couple are in their 80s. And the ones in their 80s have walkers. So my mother goes for a walk with the 79-year-old.
Oh, right.
And the 79-year-old can't keep up with her.
Okay, amazing.
This is a woman who is in almost perfect health.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what a gift, eh?
Amazing. And again, we've talked about this in the past, but you're going to live forever yourself. So this is a good sign for you. But I want to complete my thought on Peter Goodwin because sadly he passed away. And Peter Goodwin was married to Liz Janik and worked at CFNY. I know he worked in Hamilton for many years. I wondered if you knew him. I think all Peters probably know each other, but you don't know Peter Goodwin. But for those who know him, sad news to report that he's no longer with us. Peter Goodwin from Streets of Ontario at CFNY.
Huh. How old was he?
I don't know the exact age of death for Peter, but he was far. I understand it was too soon. I think he got cancer and it took him, and far too young. So.
And you cited the Peter principle that all Peters know each other.
Well, when you Peter Mansbridge, you hang out with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the time.
All you FOTM.
And Peter Zowski.
Right. Yeah, the late great Peter Zowski. Yeah. Okay. Like I said,
Pete Maravich.
Yeah, Pistol Pete. Pete Sampras. Keep going. How long can you go? Pete the Dragon. What is it? Puff the Pete's Dragon. It was Pete's Dragon, not Puff the Magic Dragon. Okay. Ian Marchant wants to know, do you remember sitting beside me at a long forgotten show at the Elmo? It's a little random for me.
The only time I recall being at the Elmo, and I don't remember, Steve Marchand?
Ian
Marchand. I have no recollection of an Ian Marchand. But I was at the Elmo Combo for a show called Lemmings, which was a satirical
Could they go
show.
off the cliff or whatever?
And I remember I had a girlfriend, and there were 14 people, and this rather small stage, not much bigger than the area that we're recording this right now. And John Belushi was in this show Lemmings, and at halftime of the show, he sat on the edge of the stage and chatted with us. Do you like the show? What do you think? And that was way before Saturday Night Live and his huge stardom.
Okay, wow, amazing. By the way, there's a person on the live. I mentioned the pirate stream at live.torontomike.com. Basement Dwellers believes that his late mother volunteered for Meals on Wheels with your mother through Circle of Care.
Very possible. My mother, in her 80s at least, was doing Meals on Wheels. She still drives now, but I don't think she does that anymore.
Amazing. Get your mother on this program. What am I doing slumming it with Peter?
Well, let's do for her 100th birthday.
So
I don't know if you want to do it. I could bring her.
I will go to her for her 100th.
She'll tell you things about me that I haven't had the guts to tell you.
Well, all Toronto Mike I would love to talk to your mother, by the way. All Toronto Mike guests live forever. There's no evidence that you would die as a guest of Toronto Mike. Therefore, I should speak with your mother, Marilyn. Marilyn, right?
Marilyn.
Because that'll preserve her. It'll be a good idea. Okay, we're going to do that. What do I have here? Will Peter Gross be applying for the classical morning man vacancy at Zoomer? Okay, so Zoomer.
That's quite a question. You know the story about...
Tell me. Remind me.
We pitched Gallagher and Gross Save the World to Zoomer Radio. I've certainly sent other missives to Zoomer suggesting that they hire me. And I got a very stern response at one point saying, please cease and desist, as if I'd been throwing rocks at their windows or picketing essence, outside.
You were asked to please stop contacting Moses.
Yeah.
Which is sad when I hear that story, because you're such a sweetheart. I will speak from experience. My Sunday's not complete if I don't get a phone call from Peter Gross. You're just a kind-hearted, wouldn't hurt a fly. You're just a solid guy, and you're excited about Gallagher and Gross Save the World, which we're going to talk about in a moment. And you just want Moses to get in on the action because you worked for him in the past. To get a cease and desist, that must have hurt. You're not immune to this. You must have hurt when you got that email.
I think I was more amused than anything else. I mean,
cry, Peter,
life is a collection of experiences, and I've had some wonderful experiences. I've had some dreadful experiences, and I would say all of my dreadful experiences have been self-inflicted. So it just seemed overkill. Please don't. We're not interested in what you're pitching to us. Please don't send any more. But cease and desist.
Yeah, I'm hurt. I'm hurt by that.
And the sidebar to this is that Moses, in my experience, was always a guy who recognized the value in everybody. And I'm a little frustrated that he didn't see the value in some of the things I was throwing at him.
Now, to be clear, that email came from like a gatekeeper, right? I don't know if you want to use the person's name. You don't have to, but there was a gatekeeper between you and Moses who sent you the email. Is it possible that gatekeeper decided upon themselves to do the cease and desist, and that Moses was unaware of the cease and desist?
I kind of doubt it. I mean, I don't know what the thinking
I'm just trying to give
was.
Moses an out in case he wants to make amends here. So, because I know he's listening.
I'm an old guy, and Zoomer has this audience of seniors that is huge in this constituency, and
right.
My self-confidence notwithstanding, I could provide something to that market. But
on that note, Peter Gross, we talked in the past that we did a couple of episodes of Seniors Moment, and it was a podcast in need of funding. So we needed a brand, anyone who's trying to reach senior citizens in this market, to sponsor it. It is well produced. It is an extremely strong podcast, and we have this proof of concept for anyone who needs to hear it. But it's fair to say we're still looking for a sponsor for Seniors Moment.
Yeah, that would be great. I think we've got 3 in the can.
Right. Well, so if anyone listening, no joke, no BS, we cut right to the chase here. If there's anyone listening who is trying to pharmaceutical, The stairs the stairs that take you up. What are they? Those like you know what I mean? Where you sit down and it takes you up the stairs. You know what I mean? Or like those like handles they put in like showers. I'm thinking of all this stuff. More
medicines that help with your erection.
Or arthritis even. I don't. Do you use medicine to help with your erection, Peter Gross?
What would be the opposite?
Well, you got to think about anyway. So think about sports. So Seniors Moment needs a sponsor. If you want to help fund this and become the title sponsor for Seniors Moment, there are real episodes you can listen to right now in Apple and Spotify, etc. And please reach out, mike@torontomike.com, or slide into my DMs. They're wide open at Toronto Mike. Let's get this cooking. Speaking of cooking, Jeanne Velitis writes in, and I think every time I say you're coming on the show, Jeanne asks the same question and makes the same point. So I'm just going to read it verbatim. How is Peter's chicken wing capacity these days? I have never, ever witnessed anyone in person who could eat more. I think I saw him do like 70 once. Crazy.
Joey Chestnut could probably beat me. He's exaggerating a bit. However,
70.
One of the greatest days of my life, and I had sex once, was
with a model.
In the early days. Yeah, she was like 5'10". That's a whole other episode. We chatted.
That's Gallagher and Go Save the World.
In the early 90s, Kentucky Fried Chicken introduced their chicken wings. And so to promote it, they brought a bucket of it at about 7 o'clock in the morning to the newsroom. And most of the people in the newsroom basically were fried chicken wings at 7 in the morning, no thanks. And I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. And I ate approximately half of the bucket.
And that was the greatest day of your life.
Yeah, that was I would say the chicken wings at 7 in the morning were the greatest day of my life.
Well, this is going to become the second greatest day of your life, because I want to tell you right now, right here, right now, I have another large meat lasagna for you from Palma Pasta in the freezer upstairs. You're going to eat, Peter. Delicious, authentic Italian food. What are your thoughts on Palma Pasta's lasagna?
The Palma Pasta is the very best lasagna I have ever eaten. And I'm not saying that to blow smoke up Mr. Palma's ass.
Palma is actually the matriarch's first name. The last name is Petrucci.
Petrucci. Well, Mr. Petrucci.
But Palma's a woman.
I like to be sincere. It is the most fantastic lasagna. And Garnet Barnsdale makes a wonderful lasagna in which he puts little meatballs in the lasagna. And it's great. But he concedes that the Palma lasagna is the best.
I don't know if you caught wind of this because you're not as active on Twitter or social media, but Garnet Barnsdale was related to my old high school friend and FOTM, Becky Dinwiddie. Have you heard any of this before?
Well, I met Becky at when you had one of those meetings in the park, and she passed away.
She passed away at the very suddenly at the age of 48. And I know Garnet Barnsdale, who makes a great lasagna, but not as good as Palma Pasta. Garnet Barnsdale, I think, is Becky's cousin.
Yes.
So we're all connected in such a bizarre way, and I just wanted to make sure you knew Garnet's cousin Becky was no longer with us, but it sounds like you got that news.
How many minutes are we into the show, by the way? Give me an exact minute.
Why? Is there something you haven't promoted yet?
But no, I got to tell Garnet that he was referred to, and
he listens.
Does he?
He's an FOTM. Garnet listens. He's going to listen to his whole thing.
I have a date with
18
Garnet.
18 minutes.
Garnet's my date Thursday night for the Sovereign Awards.
I know, and I promise you we're going to do the Sovereign Awards right after we do. So we're going to do Sovereign Awards right after we do Jeanne Beker, okay? So, and I mean...
we're going to do Jeanne Beker?
Okay, so let me do this, okay? So, because I have a whole bunch of, like you're sort of notorious for your gambling habits back in the day. Like, was it fair to say you have a problem? Is that fair?
I guess that's fair, yes.
But according to Jim McKenney, you're not at the whole like living under a bridge, would bet everything and lose it. You have some limits as to what you will bet, so that you're not in the danger zone. You're just like in the like teetering. Is that fair?
I won't go so far as to borrow $1,000 from Avito.
And is that okay? So you're not taking credit card money and betting it on, I don't know, horses or whatever.
Not today.
But in the past, that's something you might have done.
Yes.
So at some point, you've got yourself to a point where you can you just say, okay, I'm going to bet $200, and then once you hit $200, you stop.
No.
Oh.
No. You see, it doesn't work that way. The only way it works is to say, I will bet nothing. Gambling like cocaine has to be all or nothing. You can't just do one line of
dabble.
Cocaine.
Okay.
No one does one line of cocaine.
You can't, right? Like.
Okay.
So because there's a lot of people gambling. The reason it's coming up, I got so many questions. I'll burn through a few, and then I want to get your take on all this. But Brian Gerstein writes in, what does Peter think about the new betting landscape and the demise of Proline? Are they going the way of the cannabis shops, or is there enough? Speaking of cannabis, I want to talk to you about that in a minute. Is there enough room for more players? And then there's a bit more here. He says, is Peter as tired as I am of seeing Dan O'Toole promoting Bet Rivers? He seems to have gone away for the most part during the Olympics, anyways, that's a whole Dan O'Toole on TV thing. Has the legalization of single game sports betting affected the horses? And then YYZ Gord wants to know your thoughts on the sports betting changes. What's your perspective on that? So before we get like a derby pick, because Barrett team wants that, what is your thoughts on all this sports betting changes that we're experiencing in this province?
Ooh, what a question. Have you seen the commercial with Wayne Gretzky for...
Yes, I have.
I think it's BetMGM.
Yeah, I have
I mean, there is so much money being spent promoting the legalization of online gambling in Canada, and the fact that you can bet, the most important thing, that you can just bet one game. The history of Proline has been that you had to bet 3 games, and the mathematics were just so oppressive.
Right.
But being allowed to bet one game is a benefit to the gambler. This is important stuff because previously, millions and millions of dollars from Canadian bettors were going to offshore casinos and not through a Canadian institution.
Is that like a gray market, or is that an actual like black market? Like that's illegal, right?
Yeah, but there was no way of preventing.
Right.
In the United States, for a while, I don't know what the status is now, they made it illegal to use your credit card to go to any of these places.
Good.
So people would funnel their money through Canada, but that you could still. And unfortunately, I've had some bad experiences with these online casinos. Giving them my credit card. So now you've got a situation where you can. I mean, I like the new Proline because you can.
So why does Brian say that the demise of Proline? He sees this new betting landscape as killing Proline, but you're saying no because now Proline is one of those that can also do single game betting.
Yeah, I really don't know the math. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously there's going to be some cannibalization, but with all of these groups coming in, and with reference to horse racing, Jim Lawson, the CEO of Woodbine, battled for years that Woodbine should have a piece of the action, that Woodbine and all of the off-track betting shops were already equipped to handle all of these transactions for online betting. And right now, Woodbine's been left out of the equation. I know that Jim is still fighting to...
Well, that's bullshit.
To have some kind of involvement. I don't know specifically how it works and, who's running the whole show. But Woodbine, you go to Woodbine Racetrack, and it's the perfect place if you want to bet on a game. With all of the infrastructure and the capacity to take electronic bets and to have multiple screens showing the games and just making it such a huge sporting experience. So like, what do you think about people like yourself who might have an issue of gambling? All this gambling everywhere, all the time. Like I have almost near zero interest in sports gambling, and I'm just sick of the fact that all the sports I want to watch, be it the Jays or the Leafs or whatever, it seems like there's now a sports gambling component to everything. Like it's all over the place. Brian mentioned the Dan O'Toole ads. Well, I see them too because I watch the Olympics. I watch all this stuff. But what is this dangerous for those who have addiction issues with gambling, or is it just simply like you need to govern yourself, and if not, there's help available at this toll-free number? It's like anything. The Liquor Board of Ontario is dangerous to alcoholics.
Sure.
Right. It's a product, and by offering the product, money goes to hospitals and people get employed, and it's business. And I mean, sports gambling is It's a wonderful thing to do. You know, when you buy a $2 Proline ticket, you're engaged for 3 hours in a baseball game or a hockey game. You know, by the way, Garnet Barnsdale is one of the best.
You mean at winning money?
Oh, he there's a player called Scotty Barnes, plays for the Toronto Raptors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what Barnsdale's been doing for several games is he bets that Barnes will score over 15 or over 16 and get a double-double. And the number of times he's cashed on that is extraordinary. And then the odds are very, very good that will happen. He gets so
good for Garnet. Garnet, not only do you make a good lasagna, but you're winning some money at the sports betting here. All right, so I'm going to come back to the sports betting a bit later, but first I'm going to read you, and I mentioned Basement Dwellers on the live stream, but he also sent in an email, and I just want to read it because I just want to read it to you. So pay attention, Peter. I know your attention span isn't as long as it used to be, but this is a bit long.
What'd you say?
Hey, Peter. Anyway. Hey, Peter. Anyway. Okay, I see how he wrote this. I'm a longtime fan going back to childhood. I'm Basement Dweller right now. I'm not Toronto Mike, okay? Although I am also...
You're reading this guy's message.
But I'm also a longtime fan going back to childhood.
And we are in your basement.
But now I'm back to Basement Dweller, yeah. So both my late father and grandfather were big, lifelong gamblers, with horse racing in all its permutations being a particular favorite. And while I never developed a knack for it myself, I did have the pleasure of being in the winner's circle at Greenwood with my family in the summer of 1986, when my father fronted ownership on a couple of horses, Valid Michael, I like that horse name, and Triple R Connie, for a rich kid whose parents disapproved. Also, my father in his prime was a bit of a handicap being savant, maybe like Garnet there, with a penchant for picking long shot triactors. Just wondering, but did you ever grab any big paydays courtesy of the legendary standardbred driver, Reg Gassian? Do you know that name?
Reg Gassian.
Okay, I don't know.
I used to bet Reg Gassian. Actually, it's interesting because a few nights ago, a driver by the name of James McDonald won 6 races at Mohawk, and I got in touch with Garnet and said, "Can you ever recall a driver winning 6 of 10 races?" And he said, "Yes, many years ago, Reg Gassian won 7 straight at Greenwood."
There you go. Did we mention yet that if anyone has even a little interest in Ontario horse racing, there's really one definitive podcast you need to subscribe to. What's the name of that podcast, Peter?
It would be the Down the Stretch podcast.
So not only a seniors moment looking for a sponsor, but Down the Stretch is every single week, every Sunday, and I think I date the Monday, but they drop Sunday typically. But these things drop every single week, and they're fantastic.
And I'm really proud to say that we have produced 115 of them. And
okay, now you can reveal the big reveal. This and it took me. I had to do some homework to find out what this means. But Jason Portwando was here this morning, and he was explaining to me like how significant this is. You, Peter Gross, have been nominated for a Sovereign Award.
It's extraordinary. It really is.
Tell us, normies, what a Sovereign Award is.
Well, the Sovereign Awards go for excellence in thoroughbred racing every year. And they have a category, audio-visual production. Okay? And I would say in a typical year, there's probably 1,500 to 2,000 videos or shows. I'm making this up, by the way. There aren't 1,500 or 2,000. You know, every year there's maybe 2,000 horses that compete.
Okay.
But the number of audiovisual productions on horse racing is very, very minimal. So I'm a finalist.
How many finalists are there?
There's 3.
Only 3.
There's 3. Yeah.
You're 1/3 of this finalist. Who else is nominated for this audiovisual horse racing award?
Woodbine Entertainment is up for its production of the Queen's Plate.
Okay, do you know what the budget is on that? Do you know how many bodies are involved?
Many.
And how many bodies are involved in your podcast? 2.
Well,
I know you have help from Garnet and other people, but okay. All right, so just who else is nominated besides you and
And
Woodbine?
Alberta Racing did something on the 25th anniversary, I think, of some big stakes race.
Dude, You're such a David in this parable. These are some Goliaths you're up against.
I'm really David's pet mouse. The problem is, I mean, obviously, Woodbine has all these expensive cameras, and they have drones, and they have reporters.
Oh, insane.
And the capacity to produce something that's really gorgeous. Alberta Racing, very similar. And these two get nominated every year, and they've won various sovereigns between them. I produce this on my phone.
Okay, this is outstanding that you're nominated for this prestigious award up against those two heavyweights. This is sort of like when Toronto Mike finds itself competing with these like CBC and Rogers and Chorus Productions. And, like, oh, I'm going up against This American Life. See, I brought it back to me, Peter, because it's enough about you. But this is like, we are the independents. We're the little guy fighting the big guys. And congratulations on the nomination. It doesn't matter if you win this award. The fact you were nominated is an absolute mind blow, and I'm going to start using it when I market TMDS. Like, it's going to become a thing, like Sovereign Award nominated podcast productions. But honestly, I hope you feel proud of yourself. This is amazing.
No, there's going to be a moment Thursday night because we're going to the awards Thursday night.
And who's going again?
Garnet and I.
Thursday night.
Platonically, by the way.
So in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's going to be a moment when they say, and now it's time for the Sovereign Award for audiovisual production, and they will mention down the stretch in front of the whole horse racing community.
And you're gonna record this on your phone, or you're gonna record this moment so I could put it on my YouTube channel?
Well, I'll think about it.
Okay, so is there any? No, I think I know the answer, but I want to know your opinion. Is there any chance you could win this thing?
No.
Is Jason Portwando part of this ceremony?
Jason Portwando has been the host of the Sovereign Awards for many years, but I don't think he is this year. Unless it's the last time I talked to him, he said he wasn't the host. He's very, very good.
Oh, I see him in action every week. Is there any chance he knows the winner, or is this like the Oscars where you got like an accounting firm that's protecting the answer?
Well, several years ago, I was up much more legitimately in the writing category for a story I'd written. And I was very excited because I thought I had a chance. And at some point before the awards began, I go off to the washroom to take a pee. And standing beside me is Jason Portwando. Without looking at me, he says, "You won." Because he had the envelope and he ruined it for me.
So he's okay. So did he tell you that this time?
Well, no, because he's not hosting, and I don't think he knows. And it doesn't matter because I've got it's impossible for me. Why would anyone vote for something that was strictly audio when they've got high production video, audio, reporters, drones?
Well, because
cameras?
It's Peter Gross. Like, some people want the underdogs to win. Like, some people want to root for the independents.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, the voters, whoever they are, and I don't know who.
Hold on, this break. So on the live stream, a couple of people have mentioned something, and I have to confirm it before I announce it. Is that so? Lieve Fumpka, is that true? What you're just kind of said in the thing? Because I listened to a podcast by a comedian that I thoroughly enjoy. Oh, it's true. Gilbert Gottfried has passed away.
Wow.
At the age of 67. I listened to that man's podcast on the reg because it has, I consider it, even though I think I started mine first, but I listen to what he's doing with like old Hollywood, and I consider myself doing that for Toronto. That's why you're here, Peter. You're like my old Toronto media guest because I'm trying to capture these stories and share these stories, much like Gilbert Gottfried does with his podcast. So I'm just soaking this in and processing, but this is a great loss. I'm a big Gilbert Gottfried fan. So you ever meet Gilbert Gottfried?
No. The very squinty eye guys?
Yes, the guy who talks like this.
Yeah. I'm familiar with them. I'm sure Gallagher's got a picture of him and Godfrey.
I'm sure he's got several. Okay, so you mentioned the G word, Gallagher, so we're going there right now.
Okay.
Beats writes in, question for Peter. How does it feel getting rid of that dead weight you carried on your previous podcast where you saved the world? I met this guy. His name's Jason Beats. He's got a big beard, and he's a lovely guy. I really like him. He listens to the program, but he despises, for some reason, he hates John Gallagher, but he loves Peter Gross. So that's his. But then I heard from Matt Chu. This is on the other end of the spectrum. Matt Chu writes me and says, Mike, I'm addicted to Gallagher and Gross Save the World. I love the little clues they give. Andy Frost violating bro code. Gallagher dated Martine Gallard. Good stuff. What's the update here? Have you heard from John Gallagher since your last visit to my studio where you revealed that John owed you $100 for a Super Bowl bet?
Yeah, actually, John called me out of the blue a few weeks ago. Not exactly sure what the reason was, just to say hello. So it was a fairly warm conversation. But at one point I said, do you not know that you owe me $100? And there's a real point of principle with me, because it was the Kentucky Derby a year ago.
Right.
And he phones me about 2 hours before the race. He says, will you put $100 down for me?
Right.
And I have an online betting account, and it was relatively easy for me to make the $100 bet. But what I emphasized to John was, listen, I'm broke.
Right.
I'll need this money back immediately. Oh, no, don't worry. I'll send you the money. Anyways, his horse came 17th or something, and I never heard from him again, and he didn't pay me, and I even phoned him and left messages. And so he calls me out of the blue a few weeks ago, and I bring it up to him, and he says, oh, I completely forgot. And then at one point he really insulted me. He says, did you actually place the bet? So, which of course,
so he wanted some evidence that you thought you just.
I said, yeah, not only did I place the bet, but I texted you a picture of the bet. So
not only that, but that would really fuck you up if his horse comes in, like, because then you're really screwed.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Of course, I know you. Know, you
$100, and the horse was.
Yeah,
I think it was 9 to 1 or something.
No, and you're an ethical guy. You're not. That's why he.
No, I take pleasure in doing that.
Sure.
Jim McKenney will be in transit, and he'll say to me, I really want to make these bets, and I have the codes to his account. I'll go into his account and I'll make the bets for him, and I will always do that because there's kind of a brotherhood of gamblers. So,
sure.
Anyways, there's a happy ending to this, because out of the blue, a couple weeks ago, the $100 showed up.
Okay, so for the record, so we don't bury this lead, John Gallagher has repaid his debt to you. The $100 he owed you. Okay. Has he expressed any interest at all in reuniting the Gallagher and Gross duo? Because it would have to be remote, so you could be here, but he'd have to be on Zoom or phone or something. But any interest at all in another episode of Gallagher and Gross Save the World, even though he's now in where is he?
He's in Halifax.
Halifax.
He sold his house. I think he got a certain amount of money out of his house.
He got millions of dollars.
I think he got 1.2 million.
That's it. I would have bet he'd get a lot more than that.
Well, I think he kind of mortgaged it to cover.
Okay, well, you're talking about
living.
after he pays off the mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I brought it up. We had an animated conversation about it, and any conversation with Gallagher just bounces off the walls. It doesn't go in a straight line. And he was going to call you and talk about the possibility of doing it by Zoom, and the feeling I got is that he's just not up to it.
So I haven't received any phone call from John Gallagher. I just want to make that clear. I am very glad he repaid you that $100, though. I did get an email from John Gallagher, and it was from John's account, and he was asking me to go buy some gift cards.
Oh, yes.
Okay, did you get the same one?
Yeah.
So, John, and I once got the same from you, by the way. This is years ago now, but from Peter Gross, I once had a request to get, $400 of iTunes gift cards or something. And I did not fall for this scam. In fact, I think my reply was what it would be to John, except I didn't even reply to John at all. I just replied to you, Peter, and said, phone me. I want to hear that beautiful voice telling me to buy gift cards for your nephew or whatever. So, do you know of anyone who fell for this scam?
Well, in fact, I got hacked a couple years ago, and the message was, need to buy my niece a birthday gift, and I'm out of town, and the credit card's not working. Please go buy. And I think they were PlayStation credit cards or something.
Right.
And this one friend of mine fell for it, and he spent $200 on these cards, but fortunately advised me of it before because they want you to scratch off.
Oh, you have to
the ID codes.
Right, you need to get the codes so they can actually spend that money.
Once you pass it on to them. So because he'd done this for me and he was contributing to my paper, I gave him the $200, and then my daughter suggested that I go online. Did I go
and sell it for 80 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, I think I got 150. I met a woman at Square One, and she bought it. So that worked out okay, but it was unfortunate.
It only cost you 50. Yeah. I did see a story from FOTM Terry Hart. Are you familiar with Terry Hart?
No.
It's okay if you're not. But Terry Hart, local media personality, covers movies and such. Terry did fall for a scam. It was like $800. So she thought the email was from her boss, and it was saying, hey, do me a favor, buy $800 worth of gift cards, and then, send me the codes or whatever. I can't buy this, but it's for my niece or nephew. The same scam that's been running and it runs because people fall for it. But Terry Hart, she fell for it. And she wanted to warn others, and I think this is just a good chance. Like, if there's anyone out there ever who gets an email or a text from who cares who it's from, because it's not really from that person. Do not ever do this. Like, if the CRA wants it, if I don't know, the border cops are going to come and arrest you if you don't send it over. Never do this. Don't be like Terry and spend $800 in gift cards and get, because that's gone.
We talked about the seniors moment that we're trying to produce.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes we talked to a guy from the OPP who's in charge of senior scams. And one of the senior scams that's going on now is they call you and they impersonate your nephew, so you're 88 years old. Grandpa, listen, I'm stuck here. I've lost my credit card. I've been robbed. Please send $1,000. And the initial reaction of the grandparents tends to be, I better do what I can to help this young man.
It's awful, so don't fall for it. So, Peter, as we're talking, I'm about to get into the Jeanne Beker segment, which I'm very excited about. But I just want to tell you, I'm actually legit upset at the passing of Gilbert Gottfried, because enjoyed his work, loved his podcast, and gone. That's way too soon. And that I didn't know he was sick, so I'm hearing about this. But what can I say except shout out to Ridley Funeral Home? What can I say, right, Peter? Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home.
Yeah.
Do you concur?
I'm sorry, I've been distracted. I just got some very disturbing news in a
What's your disturbing news?
Well,
everything's fucking falling apart right now.
I was under the impression that I had a audition on Wednesday, and now my agent's texting me saying, why have you not done the audition? So,
is it today?
Oh God!
Can you find that out, man? Nothing's more important than your livelihood. That's how you pay your bills. Okay, you find that out. While you're doing that, I just want to give some love to Great Lakes Brewery. I'm actually going to make a pickup there next week. I'll be dropping by. Good people, good beer, fresh craft beer, independent brewery. They're fiercely independent, as you might know. They're here in Southern Etobicoke. So much love. They got a brew pub opening in the East End on Jarvis, Lower Jarvis, I should say. Shout out to my boy who just turned 8 years old. But yeah, I can't wait to check out the new brew pub. It's not quite open yet, but they're just getting some permit stuff done, and they'll be opening. But much love to them. And much love, of course, I've got your Palma Pasta. Much love to Sticker U, stickeru.com. That's where you get your stickers and decals. Peter, what's going on with this edition? Share it with the FO team.
Can we pick this up in half an hour? The agent is asking me to call him now.
So phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call him immediately.
Call him right now.
Okay.
Call him right now. This is unprecedented. Just remember, I'm going to the Leaf game and I don't have a lot of time, but you call him right now.
Okay, I'm calling him now.
Okay, I'll take a timestamp of where to edit. This is very exciting.
Hello?
Ron, it's Peter.
Peter, where are you?
I'm fortunately I'm at Toronto Mike's. I was doing a podcast with him. My information was that this was Wednesday. Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. It's Tuesday. It's today.
Okay. If I get in touch with these people in 5 minutes, can I go ahead with it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just do the Zoom right now.
I'm going to do the Zoom with Toronto Mike right now. Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, thanks. Let me know that you've done it too, okay?
I'm sorry about this, Ron. I was sure it was Wednesday.
No, today.
Okay. Good. Okay. Bye.
Peter, can you give me the link?
Yep. I'm going to give you the link.
Okay, exciting. This is exciting. You forward that to my account, and I'll connect us via Zoom ASAP, but we already have a nice camera on you. This is really exciting.
Okay, I'm forwarding this.
This is a roller coaster, man. First Gilbert Gottfried dies, and now you missed your audition.
I don't have the script either, so I'm just going to have to fake this.
Well, you know what? This is how legends are made, brother. This is how legends
Here's
are made.
the link, but how do why won't this let me send it to you?
Give me that link.
there's the script.
Take a deep breath. Forward that to me, Mike at
I know. Why
torontomike.com.
can't I find it, though?
Because you're panicking. And then when we come back from your audition, I want to do the Jeanne Beker.
Okay, here. Now I'm
okay.
forwarding.
I'm checking my email right now. I'm staring at my inbox with bated breath.
Thanks for doing this.
Listen, Peter. You're, not only are you a legend, a fucking legend, but you're also a good friend. Of course, I'm going to do this for you.
I got to spell your name right.
Yeah, just get. If you can get that in my inbox, I can take it from there. Everything is blurry. Everything is gray. Did you drop an F-bomb?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I'm clicking it now.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. Well, you need the headphones so you can hear your Zoom person. So I'm putting you in. The host will let you in soon. Casting Central's personal meeting room. By default, it's okay. You got a camera on you. I might have to switch it when we get in, but that's okay. We're gonna get you this. What can you tell me the role that you're auditioning for?
Ed?
Yeah. And what is Ed? Is Ed a grandpa? What is Ed? Is he a homeless man?
Ed's an angry neighbor.
You want to read the script while we wait? I'll let you know. I'll give you the sign when you're actually can be heard.
You know you did it, and you're gonna pay for it.
It's like I'm in the fucking room with Marlon Brando. Yeah. Holy shit.
How do you expect me to cut my grass? No, you're my problem, and you're gonna give me my mower back, and you're gonna replace my mower. What was that line?
These pretzels are making me thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Expect me to cut my grass.
Okay, do it all from the top again, man. Take this time to get loose. Come on. You're a bit tight.
You know what you did, and you're going to pay for it. How do you expect me to cut my grass? What's my problem? You're my problem. You need to get me a new mower. That's ridiculous. This is your problem.
Wow.
You're not going to pull a stunt like that on me, and you're not getting my mower. Hey, Bruce, you son of a bitch. Where's my money? What about my mower? I think those are the lines.
Peter, can you send an email to info@castingcentral.ca and tell them that the username Toronto Mike is Peter Gross? Because I have no way to change it here.
Okay.
Because the problem with the Zoom chat is it's only a one-way chat. I can't actually chat to them. So just say Toronto Mike is Peter Gross. Otherwise, I might get this. Can you imagine I get this fucking role?
What is it?
Info@castingcentral.ca. Could you imagine I get this role? Like, why not, right? castingcentral.ca.
Peter Gross.
Just to say Toronto Mike is Peter Gross.
I'll even spell my name correctly.
Yeah, I forgot I would come in as Toronto Mike, of course. You know what? They should just say Toronto Mike's auditioning. Fucking the role is his. Have they not seen the cover? Oh, you're coming in. You ready?
Yep.
Recording in progress.
No, that's not it.
It's okay. He's right there.
There he is. There's Peter.
My
Okay.
apologies. My calendar had this audition as tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm an aging old man. What do you expect?
All right, Peter. I'm going to start by grabbing your slate. So it'll be your name, your height, and your agency, and I will let you know when I'm rolling, okay?
Okay.
Okay, standing by and rolling.
My name is Peter Gross. I'm 71 years old. I'm represented by Ron Barry of Compass Management, and I'm fully vaccinated.
Perfect. All right. Patrick, do you want to take over?
Yep, sure.
Okay.
Hey, how are you, Peter?
Well, I'm good. I'm a little frazzled.
Yeah, it's understood. So this time with your audition, we are going to have you do the same sides first and just not have you as excitable.
It's more subtle.
Yes. Okay.
I'll try.
At first, and then you could amp it up, and then we'll ad lib a little anger after.
Okay.
All right. All right. Here we go, and Daniel will read for you. And action.
What are you talking about? No, I didn't.
You know what you did, and you're going to pay for it.
Ed, chill out. Okay, what's going on?
You're not going to get away with this. You need to replace my mower.
Look, the mower was fine when I dropped it off. What is your problem?
What's my problem? My problem is you. You need to get me a new mower.
Dude, you need to back off. I didn't do anything to your mower. And if there's any damage, it probably happened when Helen was using it.
That's ridiculous. You're not going to get away with that.
Hey, Ed, listen. If it's such a big deal, I'll buy you a new mower, and you can just give me the broken one, okay?
No, you're not going to pull a stunt like that on me. You need to get me a new mower.
Scene.
Okay, great. That was good. All right. Well, let's just do it one more time. Just slightly more irritated.
More irritated. Okay. Good.
Just slightly.
Okay.
Okay. And action.
What are you talking about? No, I didn't.
You know what you did, and you're going to pay for it.
Ed, chill out, okay? What's going on?
You need to replace my mower. How do you expect me to cut my grass?
Look, Ed, the mower was fine when I dropped it off. I mean, what is your problem?
What's my problem? You're my problem. You need to get me a new mower.
Dude, you need to back off. I didn't do anything to your mower. And if there's damage, it probably happened when Helen was using it.
That's ridiculous. This is your problem.
Ed, listen. If it's such a big deal, I'll buy you a new mower and you just give me the broken one, okay?
No, you're not going to pull a stunt like that on me. You need to replace my mower.
Scene.
Okay, great. Now let's go again, and I just want an ad lib argument between you and Daniel. Okay, Robert. Daniel will just egg you on, and let's get a heated argument between the two of you. Okay. And action.
Hey, fuckface, why are you so late?
Why am I so late? I didn't have any schedule. This is your problem. Why are you screwing with me?
It's not my problem. It's about to be your problem, asshole.
You screwed up my lawnmower. That was a costly mower. You owe me $250.
Oh, sure. The fucking lawnmower did it. That's right. That's the new fish ate my homework,
You are the worst neighbor ever. You're the neighbor from hell, and everyone down the street knows it.
Oh, really? Okay, well, at least I'm not the quack on the street going on about broken lawnmowers.
Yeah, broken lawnmowers. You broke my lawnmower. Of course you're not going to admit it.
Man, you even said yourself you were old. Maybe you're starting to get a few more screws loose than you realize.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with it. You broke my lawnmower. You owe me.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see how angry you can get, Robert. As angry as possible, okay? And action.
I don't know. Maybe it seems like you could use a little bit of extra help at your old age.
Yeah, screw you. I don't need any help because you're the one who's out of control.
You know, this type of lashing out is exactly the thing that concerns us in this community.
What are you talking about lashing out? You're the one lashing out at me. I'm calm.
You're calm. You're yelling at me and you're calm. I'll show you calm.
Yeah, I'll show you calm, you fuckface.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, this is what everyone wants to see. This is who everyone knows you are.
Oh, no. Everyone on the street knows that you're the moron. You're the moron who broke my lawnmower. You're the moron who makes too much noise at night. Get off the street.
70-year-old quack going on about a broken lawnmower again. Yeah, no, this is great.
Great. Play the old age thing. I could beat you with one arm behind my back.
I'd like to see you try, old man. You'd probably keel over from death.
I'm ready to go right now.
Bring it. You think you can take me?
I could take you. I could take your sister. I could take your mother.
And scene. That's great. Good job. All right. Thank you so much, Robert.
Peter.
Sorry, Peter Gross. My apologies.
It's okay.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Peter Gross, how do you feel, buddy? I was so excited watching how the sausage gets made. Yeah, you back?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't cut because it was so fucking great.
So let me see if I got this straight. That in the middle of a Toronto Mike podcast, including me, we went to my audition, and this is part of the podcast.
Yes, it was so good.
That's bizarre.
And by the way, you're a hell of an actor. And I don't know, that guy was pretty good too. Like, I'm all pumped up from this altercation I just witnessed. I feel like I just saw Will Smith slap Chris Rock. This was fucking incredible. I hope if you get that, the legend will be made if you get that audition. Like, I'm rooting so hard for you to get that. I got to witness how that sausage gets made, man.
I just have to text my agent who's very angry at me.
You text. I'm going to play something. You could text that. I'm going to play your sports reel. So do that.
Doesn't he look good?
You got Maple Leafs, the Jays and the Raptors, Argos, golf shots, and exactors. Don't waste your time with mediocre slackers. You want sports, you want gross. Gives the scores better than most fellas. He's got the face to make men jealous. Women want him just as well as you got gross, you got sports.
Peter Gross can make an extraordinary claim that really no one else can make.
Not only was Peter on the ice when the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup in 1964,
but he was also on the field when the Blue Jays won the World Series back in 1993.
He can tell you how your teams will play. You sit and watch the games all day. He can calculate ERA. When you want sports, you want Gross.
Anyway, you know Peter Gross, he did something to me that no one else ever did. 97 pro fights, never off my feet. Fought Muhammad Ali twice, 15 rounds, 12 rounds, 27 rounds altogether, never off my feet. But Peter Gross, he did that miserable little act, had me off my feet.
He's good with cola, he's friends with grapes. He's been to 23 Queen's Plates.
He even cuts his own fucking tapes.
You want sports, you want Gross.
5 out of 6 Canadian dentists prefer Peter Gross on sports.
Actually, excessive exposure to Peter Gross can lead to gingivitis, increased tooth decay, and a predisposition to root canals.
Oh shit, we've got the wrong one.
The numbers wanting this gig I'm mending, cause it pays a pretty penny. But who trained Humphreys and McKinney? You want sports, you want Gross.
If there's one thing I can thank Peter Gross for, it would be teaching me the word ensuing. Like I always used to say, well, the goal was scored, and then on the next player, the touchdown was scored, and then on the next play on ensuing. Like it pretty well made me.
When you want your sports, you want your Gross, the quintessential evening post. So let's shout out that happy boast. When you want sports,
You want sports.
you want Gross.
When you want sports, you want Gross. Always remember that.
Wow. Okay, so lots going on here on Toronto Mike, episode 1032, maybe? Okay, so do you want to credit quickly, because Paul Godfrey's on that, George Chavallo, Jim McKenney, Donald Cherry. Who else is on that clip I played? Oh, Mark Daly. Like, that's anyone else I'm missing? Oh, yeah. Who's the goalie? Johnny Bowers on that thing, too. Like, that's quite the cast. When did you put that together?
Well, this was 2004 when Stephen Hurlbut dismissed me from City TV. There's a whole story there, and it was kind of a
get that story.
What?
Like, what is that story?
Well, for 4 years I was doing World According to Gross from 2000 to 2004 at City TV, and this sounds so self-serving, but the producer was terrified of Stephen Hurlbut. And when I say all this, it's my impression that, okay, so it's not necessarily fact. And so I was sort of breaking a lot of rules of broadcasting, not doing anything really obscene or unseemly or, not that didn't belong on TV, but just not doing stories in the typical way because I was telling stories instead of doing reports. And he was afraid that he'd get in trouble with Hurlbut if he ran. So a lot of my best work didn't get on air. Again, my opinion. The opinion of others. It was very frustrating, and I went to Hurlbut from time to time and said, this guy's not running my best stuff. And the long and short of it was that at the end of 4 years, so little of my best work got on air that, I looked like a 220 hitter batting second for the Blue Jays with no homers and 3 RBIs. So they fired me. And at the same time, they fired Gallagher as the sportscaster. So out of sheer desperation, I said, would you consider replacing Gallagher with me? I've got a long history of being a very dynamic sportscaster with City TV. And Hurlbut said, well, you better give me a kick-ass piece of tape, which was really insulting. Yeah, I didn't.
But you delivered.
I didn't have to. Well, I did. I knew that it wouldn't work, but I just did it as my farewell salvo to Hurlbut. And there were several cameramen who gave up their time to help me out because we shot that on several nights.
Right.
So I put that together, and actually, it's a wonderful piece of video if you find it on YouTube. Peter Gross's Sports Reel, I think it's called. And so I get a note from Hurlbut after I sent it to him that said, great audition tape, but we've already hired someone. And they hired this woman named Heather Lynn, lovely young lady. And they fucked her around so badly. 6 months later, she was fired.
I don't remember her at all.
No. The problem was that she wasn't really ready to be a sports anchor, and she got mixed messages about what she should be doing, one from the producer, one from the director, and it was a disaster.
Wow. But that is and again, if I can find it, anyone else can find it, Peter Gross Sports Reel.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very proud of that. It's a wonderful, funny, and that was my way of saying to her, but what are you thinking?
I have heard every episode of Gallagher and Gross Save the World. Therefore, I have heard John Gallagher curse that man's name on several occasions. Not a fan of the dude who let him go in that story. All right, Peter. So we auditioned for an ad during this chat, but I wanted to talk about Jeanne Beker. Okay, did you hear Jeanne Beker's Toronto Mike debut?
I did. I listened to some of it.
I don't. Just so
the part where she referred to me.
Okay, well that's what I figured. So I pulled that part. Okay, so we're gonna listen to Jeanne Beker on Toronto Mike talking about Peter Gross, and then we're gonna get the real deal, the real talk from Peter. Here we go. Well, hey, this is a good segue because I produce a podcast for somebody you know from your past, Peter Gross.
What a cutie. Oh, what a character. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Peter, I was chatting with him on the phone. This is the other day, and I mentioned, I said, I'm chatting with Jeanne Beker on Monday. And Peter he made sure to let me know how he was always fond of you. He always admired you. And then he said he went on a date with you. And I won't give any details. It's none of my business. And I'm very happy for both of you. But he was telling me a little bit about, I guess, you were wearing a dress designed by Taller Cranston. Like, he remembers all these details.
Oh, God. And I totally, the minute you said that, I thought about what I was wearing. I was wearing Taller Cranston, the great Olympian, late great, so sad that Taller's gone because he was very, 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 very close to me. He was like my confidant and he was my mentor.
I'm sorry.
And Taller invited me to go to the Genie Awards with him. That's what they used to call the Genie Awards, where I don't know, like they had the Gemini Awards, which were for TV, I guess.
See, he thinks it was a Woodbine racetrack thing.
No, I'm telling you about the dress.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
So Taller decided that he
Right.
was, because he was my style mentor, he was going to buy me this amazing dress that he saw in a window. It was designed by Wayne Clark. And it was just looked like something out of, I don't know, like Swan Lake or the Nutcracker Suite, or it had all this tulle and all these, organza and crystals on it. And it was an amazing dress. So I didn't have much of an occasion to wear that. But when Peter Gross, the fabulous Peter Gross, asked me to accompany him to a party at Woodbine Racetrack, which was like his home away from home. And he was like
it still is.
Racetrack. It still is. I'm sure it is.
It is.
So I wore that dress, and for some reason, I recall meeting his parents. I think he might have taken me over to his parents' house.
His mom's still alive.
Something like that. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay, so any adventure you have in the mid 80s with Peter Gross, I always wonder, and you can plead the fifth on this, even though that doesn't actually exist in this country, but you can do that. But in the mid 80s, Peter was really, he was not a fan of Pepsi. Peter preferred Coke.
You're terrible.
No, I said, so we can skip over that.
I think I did mushrooms with them once. A bunch of us went to the Woodbine Racetrack one afternoon and did some magic mushrooms.
Some psilocybin. Okay.
As heavy as it got.
Okay. Well, plead the fifth. It's always safer to do that. But shout out to Peter Gross. Down the Stretch is the name of his podcast because he lives at Woodbine, as you know. Okay, Peter, I'm glad you're here now. You heard that. You've heard it before. I guess I'm looking for the real talk on the limo date. The date was going to in the limo, or whatever. You tell us, what was this date with Jeanne Beker, and what exactly happened in that limousine?
Well, it's kind of coincidental because it was a date to the Sovereign Awards, which were held at Woodbine, and the Sovereign Awards are happening in
Thursday, and of course the whole. And your date now, instead of Jeanne Beker, it's Garnet Barnsdale. You've gone way downhill with your dates. And is he wearing a taller Cranston?
No, I don't think he is. Garnet Barnsdale's getting mentioned a lot in this podcast, isn't he?
Well, he deserves it.
It was a nice night. I don't have any really
okay, but
explicit memories of it. What do you want to know?
I want to know: did you snort cocaine with Jeanne Beker in the back of that limo?
That is entirely possible. It was certainly during the period that I was ingesting.
Well, what are these mushrooms she's talking about?
You never did
shrooms.
I never did mushrooms. I had a couple bad experiences with acid or with mushrooms.
The psilocybins,
didn't enjoy
right.
that at all.
Okay.
So I think that we have definitely covered the ground in multiple podcasts here that I did cocaine in the 80s.
No shame in that game. If you didn't do coke in the 80s, you weren't there, right?
I did more coke than a lot of people. And all
but who did more coke? You or Gallagher?
That's difficult to say. There were nights where I did more than Gallagher. I mean, it's easy 40 years after the fact to say that. I haven't done any coke since 1987, and I was smoking pot regularly, and I stopped that in 1988. I would say.
So is your last consumption of cannabis 1988?
Not really. When it was legal to grow, I grew a couple plants in my yard just to make that political statement. Right. And I wrap it up and tie it all together, wrap it up, hang it for several weeks, and then all of the resin apparently drips out of the stalk into the leaves. Dried it, and I smoked a joint and got incredibly paranoid and frightened and scared, and may have as many as 2 other times smoked a third of a joint, and each time I found it very unpleasant. So
okay, well, I would recommend you talk to the bud tenders at Canna Cabana. They can tell you what the different strains do, and they can help you out. Don't waste your time and energies trying to grow your own, man. Go to Canna Cabana.
I'm not. Well, I really am disinclined to smoke any more pot after those.
All right, man. They got beverages for you. They got edibles for you. We're gonna take care of you, Peter. But right now I've got a toque. So, courtesy of Canna Cabana, there's a toque for you, Peter. So you're getting the lasagna.
So not a toque, but a toque, right?
Yeah, right. And then when you're ready to toque, Canna Cabana is Well, it was created by and for people who love weed, love to smoke it, buy it, chat about it, and share it with their friends. At Canna Cabana, they've got more than just weed. They've got bongs and pipes and vapes and dab rigs and grinders and anything else a smoker could want. Can you imagine, if you thought back to those days in the 80s when you were regularly consuming cannabis, did you ever think there would be a day when it would be completely legal in this fine country? Did you see that day coming?
I didn't at all. But you know, since we're talking about this, you might want to give a shout out to, I produced a marijuana song at one point.
Okay, well, I'll dig. Listen,
Peter Gross, I think it's Peter Gross marijuana song on YouTube. It's gotten 30 hits so far. I thought it would get thousands.
Yeah, but you were wrong. I'm rooting for you, but sometimes miracles are not possible. So I found it. So this will.
You gonna play it?
Sure. We'll play a little bit of it.
Well, you're my very special plant. You do something for me that others can't. One thing I want you to know, it won't make me grieve. Wherever you sprout your leaves, so grow, marijuana grow. Grow marijuana anywhere that you wanna. I'll just sit and play some honky-tonk.
Can I critique it? Can I give you some critique?
Good line coming up. Oh man, if this turns out to be good cannabis, I'm really gonna get zoned. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so the style of this song is rather older style, right? This is sort of, I don't know what you call this, like a folksy kind of bluegrassy kind of, jam, right?
I by the way, I should mention Eric Mahar, wonderful musician, because the music's terrific. Whether or not you like the song, it's really well produced.
The song's fine, but I'm just wondering about your expectations. So, like, when you were envisioning millions of views.
I thought this would get a good response. I was wrong.
But be straight up with me. What were you looking for? Like, could you get 10,000? What was your?
I had no idea. We did with the same musician Eric Mahar. We did a parody of the Gordon Lightfoot song "Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald,"
right?
"Wreck of the Maple Leaf Season," and we got 100,000 hits within a few hours of that one.
Oh, maybe okay. That's very good. That's extremely good.
And that was during a period when the Leafs were doing very, very poorly.
Be more specific. Ha ha ha. Okay. Cambrio wants to know, do you have a new push-up record? What's your new push-up record? Because last summer you came, I think it was one of the great events in the backyard at TMDS here. You did 70, no, you did more. How many push-ups?
I did 91 then, yeah.
What's your record?
I do 100 every day.
Good for you.
I could do more. It's funny, the progression, and quite frankly, at my age, it's very pleasing to know that I can still get more fit than I was. So I was capable of doing 90, but no more a year ago.
Wow.
And then I found, well, let's do 100. And for a few weeks, the 100 killed me. And now I do 100. Wow. I do 100 every morning. Wow. And when I get to 100, I'm happy to stop, but I'm not dying. I'm not gasping. I could do 100. I could do 110. If someone put $1,000 down, I could do 110.
First, congratulations. Push-ups. I don't know if I could do 10 push-ups, but you're doing 100 every day.
And
amazing.
To amplify the boast, I'm 71 and a half. I'll be 72 in July. I cannot find anyone online my age who can do 100 straight push-ups.
Good for you.
There must be. There's got to be.
But still, that's amazing. Okay. Barrett Team wrote me a tweet. The Barrett Team is looking for your Derby pick. When is the Derby?
May the 7th, Saturday, May the 7th.
Okay. Do you have a favorite?
What is the name? There were two horses on the weekend that ran sensational races. One of them was called Zandon, Zandon, and the other is called Taibla. I think it's Taibla. And only because these are the two most recent Kentucky Derby preps. The timing is nice. I think is that 4 weeks with Saturday? Yeah, Saturday would be 4 weeks exactly.
Yeah.
So that's good spacing for a racehorse. This horse, Zandon, was 10th down the backstretch. I can't even remember the name of the race. race. I think it was at Keeneland. It was the Bluegrass Stakes.
Okay.
He was 10th down the backstretch, and the jockey just weaved him in and out, and he was powerful at the end. And he went 150 and change for a mile and an eighth. Later that afternoon in the Santa Anita Derby, a horse called Tabla. Now, he had a much easier trip because there were only 6 horses in the race. And he came into the stretch and he collared the leader in the stretch, and it looked like the two of them would bob heads to the wire. But in the last 16th, this horse Tabla just whoop, and at a mile and an eighth, and his mile and an eighth time was 1:47. So that's 3 seconds faster, but you can't compare Santa Anita time to Keeneland time.
Okay. I would never do that. But Tabla sounds like a good horse.
I think it's Taibla.
All right, so there you go, Barrett team. Tabla. Put all your money on Tabla.
No, don't. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, don't do that.
One of the biggest mistake horse players make is they see a horse run a sensational race and assume that it translates into the next race.
Right.
And I say, look at the horses that didn't quite run a terrific race in these Kentucky Derby preps, because they're improving as they go along.
Interesting.
And I've just cited 2 horses that may have peaked or may have something more to give. But just those 2 races were visually very stunning.
You know, earlier we talked about how you Peters all stick together, okay? We'd mentioned several Peters. You, Peter Mansbridge, Pete Maravich, is that right? Pistol Pete, Pete Sampras. Were you friendly, or did you have any interactions with the late, great Peter Goddard? Do you know who that is?
Yeah. I think we crossed paths a couple of times. I'm wondering if he might have mentioned me in a column about something.
Yeah, he did write about media stuff, and I could see him writing about you.
There was... he
wrote about Hebsy?
He might have referred to something I did in the late 70s at City TV. I performed a horrible song with a group called the Battered Newsmen.
Okay.
I don't really know the details, and Goddard might have referred to it.
Wow.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
So he passed away, a longtime Toronto Star writer, for those who don't know. Peter Goddard left us. And we're about to wrap soon, but I'm still reeling from the Gilbert Gottfried news. I'll be quite honest with you.
This whole podcast is about people who died.
But we did save your career by auditioning for that ad you're going to get.
It's not an ad. It's some kind of series. It's actually not an ad.
Oh. Okay. And that kid who was that younger person who was auditioning, is he going to be in that ad?
No, that's the casting agency.
Because that guy was good.
I mean, you saved my ass by putting me through the Zoom.
Yeah. So why don't you elaborate on that aspect of things? How I saved your career here today. That's what I do for my friends.
I have an agent. He's a terrific guy, Ron Berry. He's really pissed at me because this audition was 3:30 this afternoon, and my brain told me it was tomorrow.
But that is Peter. On that note, that's dangerous. You got to have a Google Calendar. You got to have some kind of a calendar.
Well, I'm usually pretty good
where you put stuff in it, because that's very big mistake you made there.
That was very poor.
Mike Rogoski says, I'm looking forward to getting back to Woodbine for some races. What can I expect to see after 2 years away from Woodbine? Any changes?
Kazushi Kimura. Kazushi Kimura is the best jockey at Woodbine. He's going to win the Sovereign Award on Thursday.
But not your award. Another one.
No, well, that's best jockey.
I know.
The Japanese jockeys are wonderful human beings because they go to jockey school in Japan. And one of the things they're taught is respect for the media. So this Kazushi Kimura is not only a terrific jockey, he's the sweetest young man. It's funny when you're 70 years old, you can talk about a 23-year-old as a sweet young man, and his English is getting excellent. He's very, very bright, and he's a terrific story.
Amazing. Did you ever see the film Cynthia Dale starred in it? It's called Heavenly Bodies. Did you ever see that movie? Any memories of Heavenly Bodies?
Is that where she's naked and there's a shot of her butt? I remember Cynthia Dale.
Speaking of Peter Mansbridge, I do not know about that scene with the derriere, but a young Stu Stone plays the son of Cynthia Dale's character in Heavenly Bodies, and the person who created it just passed away, and I was just curious if you remember
It's all about
Heavenly
dead
Bodies.
people.
I know.
Who's the person who created it?
Gare, I want to say something. Gare, I should know this, right? Heavenly Bodies. Hold on here. I'll tell you in 2 seconds here. Lawrence Dane.
Oh, Larry Dane.
Okay, Larry. So you know Larry Dane. He just passed away.
I know of Larry Dane,
Sure.
and in the 70s and 80s, he made a lot of movies.
Yeah, he died on March 21st.
I'm guessing here, did Larry Dane have something to do with Face Off with Art Hindle and Trudy Young?
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that movie because I just talked about that movie on Toronto Mike just a couple weeks ago. Here, let's see here. No,
the
the answer is
Bassetts.
no.
The Bassetts
Right.
produced that.
Right.
Okay.
And, Jim McKenney's in that, but you already know that.
Yeah.
How's Jim doing?
Jim's doing great. Jim's. I mean, you're talking about the gambling issue, and one of the things that McKenney does for me is he's got money in an account and he's betting the races every day, and he has these incredible moments because he bets mostly long shots where he cashes thousands.
Right.
And when he wins something, he lets me bet $2 to show on a horse through his account. So it takes the pressure off of me wanting to gamble. I bet with his money.
Okay, so he's fine. I'm just checking in on everybody. And then just before we say goodbye here today, you look great. You're feeling great?
Yeah, I'm fantastic.
Like no lingering effects from the stroke you were afflicted with a couple
Well,
years
that
back?
stroke was a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It was on the occipital lobe. It affected my eyesight. They actually took my license away for 3 months. But during the hospital stay and subsequently, I had my eyes tested and was told at 70 I didn't need glasses, that my eyesight was...
And you haven't
perfect.
had any LASIK or anything. Have you had any surgery?
No.
So
because
naturally at 70, you don't need glasses.
I don't need glasses.
Because I'm pushing 50, and I can tell you, although I'm hanging in there are times when my eyes get tired, and I actually do need glasses.
I have a doctor. I haven't seen him,
Dr. Feelgood,
in months. Dr. Victor Lau, and he changed offices, and he had to transfer my medical records. So they asked me to get 2 weeks of blood pressure readings, and the blood pressure was rather high. So they prescribed a pill that I take every day, and now the blood pressure is much, much lower. So
wow, senior's moment.
Yeah, I'm taking pills for cholesterol and for blood pressure.
But you're feeling good. You're still rollerblading.
I'm just getting back
I haven't
into
seen you
it
in a while, so
I'm getting back into the rollerblading. I probably put on 5 pounds during the winter because in December.
Yeah, you're eating to stay warm or something. It's
I'm not like you,
instinct.
who goes out and rides his bike during a blizzard.
I'm up 10 pounds since COVID started.
Well, you're not a fat guy. I'm a short guy, so when I
don't want to be flabby anymore. You remember this? Don't want to be a fat guy. Rubbery, blubbery, out of shape dude. Look at me, I'm a pear.
I'm 5'2", and I weigh 162, and that's I'd be better at 145. And if I got down to 105, I could ride at Woodbine.
Good luck with that. You're too muscly to get down to 105. Peter, always a pleasure. Won't be your last time on the show. Damn it, you're amazing, and I'm so glad we got to do that audition together. It was exciting for me to witness that. I don't see that. I've never auditioned for an act before, but it's all captured on tape. You realize that everything was recorded, and everybody can hear the whole thing. I didn't edit. I'm not going to edit a stitch.
Okay.
So hopefully they aren't pissed at that. Any final words? Obviously, the horse racing fans should subscribe to Down the Stretch.
Opening day at Woodbine, Saturday, April the 16th. It's going to be fantastic. Looks like the weather's going to be excellent. First time in 2 years that they're going to have any kind of significant crowds.
Yeah.
So it should be wonderful.
And speaking of significant crowds, I'm at my first Leafs game in several years. I'm going to the Leafs game right now. So you'll see me on TV if you're watching. And maybe Austin hits 60 tonight. It is possible.
Did you see the goal he scored in overtime against Dallas?
Dallas, yes.
That was a Jose Bautista moment after the goal with the gesture to the crowd.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,032nd show. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Peter does not really do a good job on Twitter, but he is there. Peter the Gross. Peter, you could do a better job engaging with your fans on Twitter. No interest? You're just too busy?
I post the podcast, and I post every issue of Down the Stretch, and occasionally converse with people. But no, I'm not a huge Twitter guy.
Oh, shout out to Mike Epple, great FOTM Mike Epple, who's a good friend of yours.
Yes, talk with Epple often.
Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery, they're at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta's at Palma Pasta. Don't worry, you're getting your lasagna. I know you love it, and I'm happy to give you another one. Sticker U is at Sticker U. Ridley Funeral Home is at Ridley FH. There was a lot of funeral talk today. We're going to miss Gilbert Gottfried. Enjoyed his sense of humor. We'll always have the Aristocats. No, the fucking Aristocrats. The Aristocats was that cartoon, the Disney cartoon. Okay, I'm indulging. Canna Cabana. They're at Canna Cabana _. See you all tomorrow, and my special guest is the cowboy dancer from Electric Circus, who released the 12-inch single Summertime, Summertime, and then fathered not one, but two Major League Baseball players, Dalton and Tristan Pompey. My guest is Ken Pompey. See you then.